Grahame Morris.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. And I wonder who is really living in a surreal world when I hear some of the contributions from the government benches. Perhaps they should have a look at the levels of national debt and some of the dreadfully incompetent decisions that are making matters worse, and walk the mile or walk a short distance in the steps of ordinary people and have a dose of reality. COVID-19 has highlighted the fundamental weaknesses in the UK economy. Clearly, we've suffered some of the worst death rates in the world, coupled with a fall in economic activity suffered by no other major developed economy. But these weaknesses apparent in our economy have been created over the last decade. Compounding the problem is the governing party have systematically undermined our vital public services. I'm well aware, because I served on the Bill Committee, that the NHS went through a costly and unnecessary reorganisation that has squandered billions of pounds and opened our health service up to privatisation. The problems are so acute that now, after only 8 years, the government have published a white paper for a new health and social care bill. And what I find difficult to understand is when I see the Prime Minister and his ministers applauding our key workers. But surely it's reasonable to ask, where have they been during the last decade of public sector pay freezes? On the eve of the pandemic, falling real terms wages in the NHS contributed to a workforce crisis. Year on year, taking account of inflation, wages have fallen for 10 years. Nowhere has been more hard pressed in the last decade than local government. And we now have this government's council tax bombshell only weeks away. Instead of helping hard-pressed families in areas like mine, the Conservative government, or a succession of governments led by the Conservatives, have passed on the financial burden for maintaining local services to local taxpayers through higher council tax. The time when we should be applauding and congratulating local authorities like Durham that have had £260 million cut from their budgets. We should be applauding them for the work they're doing with their public health teams, reducing transmission. COVID has shown many the realities of universal credit and what happens year on year when ministers quietly cut the strings of our social security safety net. Sadly and unnecessarily, the Prime Minister maligned my honourable friend, the member for Leeds East, yesterday in his statement for his trade union affiliations. But like him, I'm proud of my trade union affiliations and the role the trade unions have played in defending the living standards of working people. Thank you.
Video